Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Jayson here. I hope you're all doing fantastic. And I'm just so excited to welcome you today to the first ever episode of Northbound. So I hope you're all doing fantastically. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm just so excited to be launching a brand new podcast with you guys. I really hope that this gets out to the ears of the people that need to hear it. My name's Jayson, and I am one of the co-owners of the Northbound Academy. We show songwriters and musicians around the world how songwriting really can change the world. And if you're interested in more information on that, just go check out our Instagram at Northbound Academy, or you can visit northboundacademy.com. This podcast is going to be one of two that we're going to be launching under the banner of the Northbound Academy. We've got this one, which is Northbound, and this is going to be my more or less just solo ramblings of information and advice and knowledge, or anything I can give, tips for songwriting and songwriters and artists to try to help you navigate this day and age better, and to take advantage of a lot of like tricks and tips that other businesses are using or other content creators are using in other fields like video or photography or something like that, that musicians just aren't taking advantage of yet. If you follow us on Instagram, you would have seen a couple of days ago that I did a 60-second songwriting tip. It was the first one I ever did, and it got a good response, and I heard that it helped a few people, which is absolutely fantastic. But I did realize in that moment that 60 seconds is not a lot of time to give any serious value. By the time I get into my main point, I have to stop the video. So I figured that I'm still going to do them on the Instagram account, but I feel like they'll be more like bite-sized, easily digestible tips, while these Northbound episodes are going to be more focused on actual real content. So subscribe to this if you're looking for industry advice on songwriting and just more of a practical approach, because I mean, you probably can find many podcasts where they talk about inspirational things and, motivational things and that type of stuff. But I also want to give you a new element that I don't see much in other musician or songwriting or creative podcasts, which is how to approach tactically and like with branding and marketing, and how to actually go about getting your music out there in a business sense. You know what I mean? Okay, so today we're going to be talking about, do you really want it? Now, I know that you're probably nodding your head. Of course, there are so many people out there that really want music to become their full-time job, and they really want to reach whatever goals you may have. That might be anything from, I'm a songwriter and I just want to play my local pub. I really like their nights they have on there, and I want that to be I want that to be me. I want to be up on that stage. Or it could be, you could be someone who's going, no, I don't want to, my end game is to fill stadiums. Like, I want to be all over the radio. I want to be on TV. It doesn't matter where you might lie within that scale. As a songwriter, do you really want it? You could want it. I know so many artists, and I've worked with so many bands and artists that want it, but when it came crunch time, they didn't really want it enough. Like, are you prepared to put everything aside to chase this? Is this your number one priority? Now, those are very, very heavy things to think about, because by no means am I saying do anything silly like, quit your job to go busk on the street. Like, you've got to be smart about how you do it, and definitely don't abandon your family or friends to go travel the world if you haven't put any thought into it or any planning. But my point is, do you really, really want it? Now, the way you can tell is normally there's two types of people that I've come across at least. Both of these types of people want it. They'll say they want it, but one of them's out there doing something about it, and the other one waits for things to happen to them. So are you an active person or a passive person? Now, this isn't something to be ashamed of, because personally, I've fallen into that trap many times of just getting a song finished and putting it out online and then just waiting for people to hear it. But that doesn't get anything done. And you need to be doing more than that if you really want to chase these dreams, because time runs out and you've got to be making the best possible use of your time each day. So that might be hard to hear if you've just realized that you're in the passive category, but at least you know now that that's something you can work on, and that should be super exciting for you. So when you think about being a musician or being an artist or anything like that, a lot of people don't see it this way, but you've got to be considering being an artist or being in a band or being a songwriter as essentially running your own business, because you have a brand. You're looking for transactions. You're looking to monetize it. You're looking to either get paid through live shows or through sales of merchandise and albums. But therefore, because you are a business, you need to consider your operation like a business does. You need to be looking at you being an artist or you being in a band. If you really want it, you need to be looking at it just like someone who's self-employed and is running their own business each day. You can't sit back and just wait for people to hear your music. I mean, you might know how great it is, and that's fantastic. It might be amazing. It might be the next thing that could be huge on the radio. But if nobody hears it, what good is that? You need people to hear it, and people just don't stumble across music anymore like they used to, because the internet is a very, very crowded place. So you need to be thinking about it this way. If you were to build your own business, that might be selling a product, or it could be actually moving into a storefront or whatever. Regardless of how you're going to run your business, the rule usually goes that in businesses, it's about 20% building your product, and then it's 80% marketing. It's so easy to fall into the trap of burning yourself out on writing the songs and getting them recorded, or, even if it's getting your t-shirts printed up or any type of merchandise, you feel like the work's done once you have the product. But that's where you need to be realizing that you've still got 80% of the work in front of you. 80% of your work is now having to market that and get that out to people. So it goes to show that you've still got 4/5 worth of your work after you've already built the product that needs to be sold or created that song that needs to be heard. So it's not enough these days to just put a song out and wait for people to come to you, because if you're doing that, you're giving up 80% of your potential work that could lead to you reaching that 100% goal to earn the amount of money that you want to earn from it, or make those sales, or, book those shows, or whatever you're looking for, right? Because being an artist and being in a band, it's a grind and it's a hustle, and you should love every single second of it. You shouldn't be looking towards your dreams and think that your happiness is at the destination, because, we all know that cliche that, happiness is the journey. So if you are one of those people who are just super passionate about your music, and it would be a dream job to you to reach whatever goals you may have, use that to fuel your passion. I've had many people say to me that they want to be able to do this, but they just physically don't have time to. I hate to be blunt about it, but if that's your response now, you don't want it as much as the next person. And there will be someone else who puts in that extra effort and will beat you to the punch of your own dreams. So this is that thing where you need to realize, how badly do you actually want it? Do you want it badly enough to get up an extra hour earlier and just work on sending out emails, or working on your online branding, or putting into practice the tip I'm about to give you at the end of this podcast? Like, are you prepared to find an extra hour in your day for that? How badly do you want it? Do you really want it? Because as I said, there's two types of people in this world. And I said one of them was just there to put the song out and wait for people to hear it. But there's another person out there, the other type of person, they're out on the street with headphones, hustling pedestrians to listen to it and want to buy their CD on the street. They've been around forever. And it worked. When I was in LA, just the amount of people that stopped me to listen to their album, I ended up buying a couple because they really weren't that bad. But I would have never have found those artists if they weren't out there hustling for it, and they would never have made those sales. Now, I'm not saying that you should go out on the street and do that. It might work for you, of course. I'm not saying don't do it, but I'm not saying you have to do that. My point is that we've got the internet now, so there's no real need to have to go out on the street and do that physical thing. But there's not many people doing it, so that could be your hole in the market. It's completely up to you, and I want to encourage your mind to be thinking outside of the box for how it can best benefit you. The hardest thing that you're going to come across is trying to figure out how to be heard in such a noisy digital age. Everyone has an opinion online. Everyone has a megaphone, as I like to think of it, yelling over the top of someone else, telling them to listen to something else, or, every other musician's fighting for people to listen to them, or, businesses are trying to get you to buy from them, and people are just trying to talk about what they ate for lunch. You need to be heard through that noise, and you need to work out how to get heard through that noise. Now, that's a big challenge in itself, but I want to step you through a little technique and tip that other industries are taking advantage of, be it businesses or other content creators, mostly like in video or even photography. I mean, there's plenty of people using this technique, but I don't see other musicians taking advantage of this. And it's something that if you put this into practice and get in on it early, you're going to be one of the first to benefit from it. And it costs you nothing. It's absolutely free, right? So first of all, I'll ask you, how good would it be if we had an opportunity to somehow go back in time? Because doesn't everyone wish that you could just go back in time and be one of the first people on, Facebook or even MySpace or Instagram or Twitter or whatever, right? One of the early adopters who got on early was one of the first few people on there, started building followers. Imagine where you'd be now if you were one of the first bands to put your music up on SoundCloud even, or one of the first ever to put up on Facebook. You would absolutely be like killing it now because of how big those social networks have grown to, right? And you were one of the early adopters. But this is why you need to be thinking how you could do that today. One of my favorite quotes ever is, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, but the second best time to do it is now. So you can always look back and say, oh, I wish I did that ages ago, but you could do it today and you could start something today that you benefit from in the future, and future you will have you to thank for that, So if you really want it, if you really want this, if your dreams are something that you really want to physically attain and achieve one day. Now, I'm saying it that way because it's completely okay to just have dreams, but realistically deep down never really want to achieve them. It's just sometimes fun to think about them, right? And I've worked with artists that are completely comfortable with where they are, but they like to think I could reach something one day. But they're a different type of person. If you're someone who wants their dreams and want to achieve them, and wherever you want to be, you physically want to be feeling that stage under your feet of the stadium that you've just sold out, or you want to feel what it feels like to hear the sound of your own music on the radio or on a movie soundtrack or on a TV channel, like whatever it may be. This is what you need to be doing. Here's a fantastic way to help you get your name out there. Every single day, put an hour aside. Now, this might be getting up an hour earlier, or it could be going to bed an hour later, or if just finding time in the afternoon when you just get home from work, or it could just be on your lunch break while you're at work filling in time. Like wherever you can find it, find an hour. Now, what you got to do is go to the App Store or the Google Play Store, depending on whether you're on iOS or Android. Just find your mobile app store and go to the section where there's the new social media apps, because people are making them every single day to try to compete with the big players. Now, most of these just burn out and you never hear from them again. But what about that one that does make it? What about that one that is the next thing and you could be an early adopter on it? So what I want you to do is every single day, find a new social media application, sign up for it, and post your first piece of content. Put your first song online and be one of the first artists on there, because it doesn't take long for you to do that. I mean, it won't even take you that full hour. You could get through a couple of apps in that hour. But just by doing that, you've just secured that little bit of a ticket into the lottery of like, that might be the next one that picks up. Imagine if you were one of the first people to put a clip of your music up or a really good Instagram profile on Instagram before it blew up and eventually got bought out by Facebook and has become one of the biggest social networks in the world. Like imagine if you could do that, and you could do that. You never know. So every single day, go on the App Store, find a new social media platform, sign up for it, and put your first song on there, because that's the difference between someone waiting for something good to happen to them versus someone who's trying to find that good thing to happen to them, right? So you need to go out there every single day and not only want it, but you need to get it. But most importantly, you need to earn it. You need to earn every single accolade that comes your way. Good things don't just fall into your lap, especially in this day and age. So you need to stop waiting for it. You need to be out there pushing as hard as you can every single day, making really good use of your time, because whatever dreams you may have, that they are attainable and they are achievable. You just have to want them badly enough. And if you want them, you use that passion to fuel that extra bit of work that you've got to put in to separate yourself from everyone else out there who just thinks it's okay to kind of passively ride the coattails of the social networks and just upload a song and hope that traffic just magically stumbles across their page, right? We need to work harder and we need to be out there grinding this thing and hustling, because that's where the difference lies. So I hope you guys have enjoyed that. That was the first episode ever of Northbound. I would love to hear what you thought. So drop us a line at northbound@northboundacademy.com, or you can message us on our Instagram account, which is at Northbound Academy. And I would love it so much if you could subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss any future episodes. And even more so than that, if you want to be an even bigger legend, I would love it if you could share it with someone who you think could benefit from the information that I give within these podcasts. I would love to build a community of really cool songwriters that are working together to really figure out this current age and help one another. So if you have any stories or advice that has helped you or anything you'd like said on this podcast or addressed, remember, you can email me at any time at northbound@northboundacademy.com. And just remember that we do have an Instagram account, which is at Northbound Academy, that you can follow. We've got plenty of content going up there all the time, and I will notify you guys on there too whenever a new podcast episode is out too. So subscribing to that page or following our Instagram account will allow you to keep up to date with these podcasts and our new podcast, Time Painters, which will be out in a couple of weeks. And just remember, we've got a free presentation running at the moment we've just put up last night to be available on demand. So you don't have to try to make it to a live session anymore. Whenever you're ready, you can just watch it on demand. We step you through how your musical instrument or skill, I mean, it's not just limited to people who are guitarists or drummers or pianos or bass players or whatever, or it works for singers. Even if you're a DJ or an electronic artist or a songwriter, whatever you may be, even if you play flute or oboe or cello, you get my drift. Anyone who plays a musical instrument or has any skill within the music industry, we show you in that presentation how that could become your full-time job, because that's really where you want to be. That's the way it worked for me. That's where I got to achieve the goals I had, was just because I was working constantly in music all the time, and I worked only a few hours a day, made good money, and that was able to fund me to pursue my music dreams on the outside of that. So that's what you guys need to be too. So if you're interested in finding out how music could become your full-time job, definitely check out that presentation. You can visit it at thenorthboundmovement.com, which is thenorthboundmovement.com, or you can go to our Instagram account at Northbound Academy, and the link is in the bio, and you can just click on that and it will take you straight there. So anyway, I hope you guys have a fantastic day or afternoon or morning or evening or whatever it may be, wherever you are in the world. Stay safe, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much for listening.